Alright, so need some help here. C10, it runs great. Back when the transmission went out in the Suburban, before I had the Mercedes roadworthy, I was driving this thing to work every day. And so it started using a little coolant, and I could not, or it started getting a little low on coolant, and I could not find where it was coming from. And so I know this is a forbidden thing to do. I threw some bars leak in it, and since then it hasn't really used any coolant. What I did notice was, before I threw the bars leak in there, it was kind of the coolant looked nasty. I was thinking it was probably an intake gaskets that were leaking, and I'm kind of still leaning towards that, but I need some help here trying to figure out if y'all think that's what it is. But yeah, I put the bars leak in there. Since then, it's not really using coolant, maybe just a little bit. The oil is clean. It's not getting in the oil. There's no condensation on the cap. So what you get when you look in here, see that stuff? What is that? Let me get a white piece of white paper or something I can show you a little better. Alright, so I got a piece of white paper. It'll just help contrast what this stuff looks like. Clean my glove off. Like I said, the oil's clean. This stuff is, I don't know if it's just dirty cooling system. I mean, this thing did sit quite a while. It had antifreeze in it, but I don't know if that could be rust. It's slimy. It doesn't really feel gritty. I mean, it's got a little bit of a grit to it, maybe. I'd say it's mostly slimy. It does not pressurize the coolant system when you start it up, so I don't think it's a head gasket or anything. I don't notice coolant out the exhaust. So I don't know if intake gaskets would do this. Like I said, that's what I was leaning towards. And I've cleaned this before, and it comes back. Yeah, I've cleaned this all up, cleaned the cap up. And actually I put a new cap on it at some point, and that new cap was no good. The new cap's in the, it was leaking out the, it was not sealing. So yeah, got this cleaned up. Got a little bit of junk in there, and we get some brake cleaner. Let's spray that in. I had some brake cleaner earlier. So cap's all cleaned up. Put the cap back on. But it'll get like that again. And let me show you the coolant tank. This is what really looks bad. When you look in there and the antifreezing looks that bad. But it looks pretty nasty in the coolant tank. You can see it's got junk stuck to the sides. I'm guessing that's kind of the same stuff. It's got some chunky stuff floating in it. So I don't know if I just need to flush the system. This is not bars leak. I it was like this before I put the bars leak in it. It was like this, and it was using coolant, or the coolant was going somewhere. I couldn't find a leak anywhere, but coolant was going somewhere. I threw the bars leak in it because I was having to drive this thing. I was working on the Suburban, working full time. I had no time to tear into this thing. I drive 70 miles a day for work, and I need my vehicle, so I kind of wouldn't normally have done that, but I did put bars leak in it. But it was like that before the bars leak. The bars leak did stop it from using coolant. I mean, it may drop a little bit, but it's pretty much gone. It pretty much does not use coolant anymore. Might have to add some every once in a while, but that pretty much fixed that issue. But I'm not sure. I don't know if that's just gunk that's left in the system from when it was leaking or when it was using coolant, and that's just left over in the system, or if that's there could have been rust in the system and that's worked its way up. I don't know. I've never seen, like I said, I don't think it's a head gasket or anything. It's not pressurizing the system. It's not, so I'm gonna get what I'm getting at is I don't think it's exhaust gases coming up through the system. So I don't know. I don't know if I should just try flushing the system and see if it fixes the issue. Like I said, it might still be using just a little bit of coolant. I did add some a couple days ago, and I think that's the first time I've added some since I put the bars leak in, so I'm not sure if it used some or if it was just always just a little bit low. But it definitely was using not quite a bit, but definitely was using coolant before, and it's either not now or using very little. Like I said, no traces of it. Can't tell out the exhaust. It's not steaming. It's not. It runs great. So I don't know. I don't know where it could have gone and what this gunk could be, but let's see, just a little bit floating in there. And yeah, maybe I just need to flush it and see what it does from there. I don't know. So leave a comment down below if you've got some advice on what I should do. I'm guessing I probably should pull the intake and put intake gaskets on it. Like I said, don't think it's a head gasket. Does not pressurize the coolant system. I had it running, and it did not, build any pressure. Of course, I had when the cap was on. It does not act like a head gasket, and did not act like a head gasket when before I put the bars leak in it. That's why I was thinking it was probably intake gaskets, and I threw the bars leak in there to help stop intake gasket leak. But yeah, so, and I did check it when it was low on coolant. I did look all over, added coolant, looked all over for any leaks, drove it, it got low again, looked all over for leaks, nothing, couldn't find any trace of it. And the oil is clean. Yes, nice and clean oil. No signs of water in the oil. So I'm not sure. No condensation in the oil filler cap. So I'm not real sure where to go from here. I guess I should start with a flush and go from there, but let me know what you think. one thing I forgot to add on this is that the you know, I said it had sat for a long time and it had antifreeze in it when it sat. I did drain it and put fresh antifreeze and water in it. I replaced all the hoses on it, heater hoses and radiator hoses, replaced all those when I put it back on the road, and drained the coolant and everything out of it and put, you know, new coolant and distilled water in it. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I did not flush the system out though. I just drained it. So I forgot to mention that. Started thinking about it and figured that was worth mentioning, is that, you know, this isn't the coolant that was in it. It did get changed out, and I didn't like them. You know, I ran it for a while before I changed all the hoses and stuff in it. So, you know, it did circulate some with the old coolant before it got drained. So anyway, so if you've got any ideas on what it could be, leave a comment down below, or, you know, leave a comment anyway. Leave a comment down below. Hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thanks.